Hello everyone, today's poem is Wei Wind, 硕鼠, the last poem in Wei Wind in Book of Songs. Together with the second last poem, 罚谈 in Wei Wind, these two poems used to be quite familiar to mainland Chinese because they are the only two poems in the textbook in middle school. So every Chinese had read about these two poems, and the reason is quite simple because these two poems, first thing first, is simple. It's easy to understand. The second thing is this two poem is a blaming poem to the upper class, to the lord of the Wei state. As a socialism country, to condemn, to blame the exploitation to the working class, to blame the unfairness is for sure. That's a very natural thing. But very strangely, roughly 5 years ago, these two poems was removed from the textbook. I don't like that because even in the time, roughly 3,000 years before, the Chinese people, they expressed a very strong condemn, blaming to those behavior which was described in these two poems, and today it's still part of the spirits in the Chinese mind. We should keep this spirit along with us all the time, generation by generation. And in this poem, we can also see the very original word created for utopia. And we can also find out why a fat rat became the symbol of a very greedy, very ugly man. In today's world, a greedy capitalist, a very ugly rich people, right? Okay, let's see. The first paragraph. 硕鼠硕鼠，无食我黍，三岁贯女，莫我肯顾。The big fat rat, the big fat rat, don't eat my food. Since when you are at 3, I doubted on you so much, and till today, you even don't look back to me. Okay, let's continue. 逝将去女，适彼乐土，乐土乐土，爰得我所。I swear I will go to the land of Utopia, the land of happiness. And when I get to that happy land, that's where I want to stay. So the whole paragraph is like the poet was talking to the fat rat, that I take care of you since you are as a child. I doted on you so much. Today, you even don't look back to me. And now I won't leave you, and I'm going to a place with happiness, a utopia place. So it looks quite simple, but when you pinpoint the two figures, the meaning is quite clear. The big fat rat referring to the Lord, because in a state, only the Lord have the right to take taxes from his people. And the poet apparently is a citizen, could be a senior citizen, or even could be a high-ranking official, but still he has the duty to work for the state affairs, to pay the tax, normally the food, the crafts he made. So it's quite detailed, but everybody should pay his part to the Lord, to the state. And from the poem, we can see that very likely the poet is a senior officer, which also explained he can read and write. So he write this poem, and he has a very close link with the Lord, because he, in some time, the Lord is a kid, a young kid. So this poet, as a senior officer, he take care of the state affairs. Of course, he take care a lot of things of the young Lord when he was only 3 years old. Well, some 10 years later, 20 years later, the young kid became the Lord today, and the Lord even don't look back to this old man, to the this poet who has take care of him for quite a long time. Well, at the same time, the Lord put a maybe much heavier duty, much heavier tax on the poet or on the average people, just like the poem said, 无食我黍, don't eat my food. Very likely the poet do not have enough food already. Maybe that's the last few grains of food for his own family. In general idea, this poem, together with another poem, Faten, reflected the last moment of the Wei state, that the Wei state is with quite limited land, but the people is getting more and more. So everybody has a very limited and fewer assets. So that's the reason one. And another reason is the Wei state was located at a very strategic location, surrounded by much bigger state, and they are invaded for many times. Their land, their people lost gradually. In one word, the Wei state was declining, and the internal conflicts became more and more heavy and heavy. So this poem basically reflected the conflicts between the Lord and his people. Even this poet is a senior officer. That's why this poet dreamed about a land of happiness, 乐土, Utopia, or is there a place could be a land of happiness? Of course not, because the land was either a Wei state or some other ABC state. If this guy, as a senior officer in the Wei state, he left his own state, went to another state, he would be a much junior class, or maybe he could be even taken as a slave. So in reality, there is no such happy land for the time being. But because the life is so hard, is so unbearable for the poet, the only thing he could do to have a daydream, to dream about there could be a piece of land of happiness. So whenever in the literature word, someone write a dream word, very likely the current situation or the situation of that time should be a very, very bad time. So when we're reading this poem, we should think in both ways. The poet dreamed about a piece of land of happiness, a utopia, but in reality it reflects the conflicts, the poor life he had at the moment. The second and third paragraph basically express the same feeling and with almost same wording, and I won't explain or go through the second and third paragraph anymore, but I will explain some of the key words. So first thing first, 逝将去如. 逝 is a double referring word. It's a long word of swear, I promise, and also it means to go away. So 逝将去如 has two words emphasize I will go, I'll leave you, and also the character 逝 was taken as make a promise, I swear, I would. So that's the character 逝. And also in the second paragraph, the piece of the Utopia was taken as 乐国 in the happy state. Well, precisely the term 国 referring to the city with war and where the state lord lives. So basically it's the capital of that state. And in the third paragraph, the utopian was referred as 乐郊, the happy suburb, the land of suburb, happy suburb. So this basically is the concept or the landscape in that time. You can see this picture. The area within the city wall was so-called as 国, and most of the time the whole state was also called as 国, and the suburb area is the area surrounded the city, and the people lived in both areas. They are the citizens, so they have their rights as a citizen. They can express their opinion to the king, and also they should fulfill their duty. Let's say to serve as a soldier, to serve as a craftsman, to serve as an officer, to pay their tax. So this is a two core area for the state, and the vast area surrounded outside of the suburb was so-called as 野, a wild place. It doesn't mean the wild place. It still have farmland, have people there, but they are not citizens. They are sort of the slavery people, and the land in this area belongs to the people inside the suburb area and in the city wall. So basically that's the three different locations in the Zhou dynasty. The last sentence in the second paragraph, 爰得我直. 爰 means where, 直 means the value, the asset. So the last sentence in the second paragraph means when I went to that utopia, that's the place where I can have my asset, I can have my value there. So basically it's the same thing. And in the third paragraph, 谁之永号, it's a little bit different, or 谁之永号. So when we review the whole sentence, it means when I get to that happy land, the land of Utopia, who will sing songs, or as well as who will cry. So 永 is a long word of 永. In the time, it's one word, but today it's a two different word. Basically, it means to sing a song. So sing a song normally is a very, very happy things, a happy feeling. And 嚎 is crying out loud or shouting out loud. So normally it's a very sad and angry feelings. So the last sentence basically make a comparison actually. 谁之永号 who will sing a happy song, who will cry out loud sadly. So it's a comparison between the greedy lord and the poet himself. As far as I find that happy land and I leave my lord, went to that happy land, the lord who was so greedy and happy today, you will crying out loud and sadly. Nobody will pay the tax to you. Nobody will serve you. Nobody will fulfill the duty of your state. And I will be live on my own feet. I will live on my own farmland. I will be very happy and sing out loud. So the last sentence is somewhat funny, ironic, but it also expressed the deeply angry beneath. Okay, that's the whole poem. Very funny, interesting, and somewhat a little sadly. And after this poem, the image, the figure of a fat rat was rooted in all Chinese mind. So what do you feel when the Chinese we see the cartoon Mickey Mouse? What do you feel? But for a kid, it's okay because the kid is just a white paper. He didn't read the poems in Book of Songs. But when a Chinese grown up, and then he see the cartoon Mickey Mouse. So what do you feel? How was the contrast between the Mickey Mouse and the fat rat in this poem? 硕鼠，硕鼠。Okay, that's for today. Bye bye.